Have you ever felt like your legs are weighed down at the end of the day? Like you're carrying invisible sandbags? Ever had that strange sensation where you start your morning thinking you're doing everything right, and then a few hours later you feel drained for no reason, your joints ache a bit, or your ankles are slightly swollen? If so, let me tell you something, it might not be age. It might be the wrong kind of fat sabotaging you. Every single day, the truth is, a lot of people in my generation grew up hearing that certain fats were good, natural, even essential. But the latest science is starting to challenge that story. 4 types of fat eaten weekly by millions of people over 60 have now been directly linked to joint pain, muscle weakness in the legs, and even clogged arteries. A 2023 study really caught my attention. One single type of fat heavily promoted as healthy increased the risk of heart disease by 35%, caused knee inflammation in nearly half the participants, and reduced walking strength by 41% in just 3 months. What's even more worrying, these fats are hiding in the very foods we buy, thinking they re good for our health. But here's the good news. Just as some fats drag us down, others do the exact opposite. They support hormone balance, help with muscle recovery, and keep our legs strong and our bodies energized. And look, if staying healthy after 60 is something that matters to you, now's a great time to subscribe to the channel. Before I tell you which fats are actually beneficial and one of them might really surprise you, let's first talk about the 4 worst ones. And we'll go from the least bad to the most harmful, starting with the classic coffee creamer. It might seem harmless, I know. Just a splash in your morning cup, what's the big deal? Well, that's part of the problem. Many of these creamers are loaded with animal-saturated fat, synthetic emulsifiers, and stabilizers. Not to mention ingredients that after 60, your body just doesn't digest as easily. It's like trying to sip a thick smoothie through a tiny straw. Circulation slows down, digestion gets sluggish. And over time, we start losing mobility in our legs, feeling heavier and running out of energy. According to the Journal of Aging and Metabolism, people who consume full-fat creamer daily have 21% higher triglyceride levels after meals. Inflammatory markers also spike. That mild ankle swelling you feel? This could be part of the reason. And even the ones labeled natural often contain ingredients like carrageenan, which can irritate the gut and trigger joint swelling. Want a simple swap that actually helps? Try unsweetened plant-based milks like almond or cashew milk. Or small amounts of low-fat dairy, just make sure it's free of emulsifiers. It might seem like a small change, but for anyone already experiencing leg pain, it can be the first step toward real improvement. The second type of fat that deserves attention is the one found in chia seeds. Yes, I know. Chia is a superfood. That's what everyone says. But that doesn't mean it works well for everyone, especially after 60. These seeds swell up significantly in your stomach, absorbing up to 12 times their weight in water. If your digestion is already slowing down, or if you often feel bloated after meals, chia might be making things worse. In 2020, researchers found that seniors who consumed more than 20 grams a day had more gas, higher fat retention in the blood, and slower digestion. Think of chia like a sponge. If your digestive system is already sluggish, it just slows things down even more. Plus, the famous omega-3 in chia law doesn't convert well into the forms our bodies actually need. Like EPA and DHA, most people over 60 convert less than 5%. The benefits might not even be reaching where they're needed. A friend of mine, Linda, 69, used to add chia to her smoothie every day. She constantly felt bloated. When she started soaking the seeds beforehand and reduced the amount, she felt lighter and more energized within weeks. Bottom line, chia doesn't have to be cut out of your life. It just needs to be used more mindfully. Now let's talk about a type of fat that's especially deceptive because it hides behind the label lean protein. You know that deli turkey? It's that chicken sausage that looks healthier? Or even that light ham? Behind those low-fat or lean labels, these foods are hiding a serious issue. Processed fats? Even when we choose cold cuts with less visible fat, it's the way they're made through curing, smoking, and the use of nitrates changes the structure of the natural fats, so they become substances called ALs. Advanced lipid oxidation products. Sounds technical, but the effects are very real. These damaged fats increase oxidative stress in the body. That means they harm your blood vessels, make your joints stiffer, and inflame your gut. A 2021 study found that adults over 60 who ate processed meat 4 times a week had a 41% higher risk of hardened arteries. More than 30% reported recurring joint pain, even during light activities like climbing stairs. That's no coincidence. Ever notice how your knees feel stiffer after a ham sandwich? Or how your ankles complain if you spend too much time on your feet? Processed fats work subtly, but their effects add up over time. And here's the worst part. These foods are often eaten in the morning precisely when your cortisol levels are already higher, which amplifies their negative impact. So you're starting your day with something that hinders circulation, slows digestion, and drains your energy. But there's more. These fats interfere with the signals insulin sends throughout your body. The result? The energy from your food gets stored as fat, mostly around the belly and legs, exactly where many older adults feel the most heaviness, swelling, and weakness. But don't worry, there's a solution. And it's pretty simple. Swap out processed meats for fresh, home-cooked options. Grilled chicken, slow-cooked lean ground beef, even a well-prepared steak can provide the protein and healthy fat your body needs without the chemical additives that cause trouble. Now for the most surprising one. This might shock you. Avocado. That's right. You've probably heard that avocado is a healthy fat. And it can be just not for everyone, especially not after 60. What most people don't realize is that as we age, our bodies produce less bile, the digestive fluid that breaks down fat. Insulin sensitivity also drops. And the liver, along with the gallbladder, starts to process fats more slowly. Now imagine combining all that with a generous serving of avocado, nearly 80% fat, mostly monounsaturated. The result? Fat lingers longer in your bloodstream, digestion gets heavier, and circulation starts to suffer. In 2022, a study showed that seniors who ate high-fat plant foods like avocado daily had higher levels of inflammation in their blood after meals and more difficulty clearing fats from their bloodstream. When avocado is paired with eggs, cheese, or olive oil, the effect multiplies. It's like overloading a machine that's already running low on power. Here's another curious fact. Avocado contains beta-cetosterol, a plant compound similar to cholesterol. In some bodies it's beneficial. But in bodies with hormonal imbalances, which is common after 68, can disrupt levels of testosterone and DHEA, two hormones essential for muscle repair and overall vitality. A friend of mine, Mr. Steve, 72, thought he was doing everything right. Avocado for breakfast, olive oil on salads, nuts as snacks. But he was always tired, felt heaviness in his legs, and had nagging hip pain that wouldn't go away. He cut back to just a quarter of an avocado, 2 or 3 times a week. That small change made a big difference. He felt lighter and more alert within weeks. Bottom line? Avocado isn't the villain, but overdoing it is a mistake. After 60 now that we've covered the 4 types of fat that most disrupt our strength and mobility, it's time to turn the tide. After years of hearing what we should avoid, it's finally time to talk about what we should be adding more generously to our diets, especially if your goal is to keep your legs strong, your joints working smoothly, and your body full of energy. And the first on the list might surprise you. Coconut meat. No, I'm not talking about refined coconut oil or those sugary flakes sold in shiny grocery store packages. I mean the white flesh of the coconut straw, fresh or dehydrated, still rich in its natural nutrients. Oh, this part of the coconut is high in a special kind of fat called medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs, unlike most fats that need to go through the liver before becoming energy. MCTs go straight to your cells like express delivery. If you often feel your energy dip mid-morning or late afternoon, this can make all the difference. One study followed older adults who consumed MCTs from coconut for 4 weeks. The result? Over 20% improvement in walking endurance and reduced muscle fatigue. Best of all, no major dietary changes were needed. Coconut meat also contains lauric acid, which has an antimicrobial effect in the gut that helps fight off bad bacteria that often contribute to bloating, joint pain, and that general heavy feeling. If you like oatmeal, smoothies, or homemade baked goods, try adding 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh or unsweetened dried coconut. It's a small tweak that offers steady energy without overwhelming your digestion. The second golden fat comes from a place where many people still have doubts: egg yolks. For years, egg yolks were unfairly vilified. A lot of people spent decades skipping the most nutritious part of the egg, thinking it would protect their heart. But now we know. The real treasure is in the yolk. The yolk is a complete source of healthy fats, choline, vitamin D, and natural omega-3, south especially when the egg comes from free-range chickens, or those fed a flaxseed-rich diet. But the most fascinating part? The phospholipids in the yolk. These compounds support digestion and help the body absorb fats and win your gut isn't working quite like it used to. A 2019 study found that older adults who ate 1 to 2 whole eggs 3 times a week saw significant improvements in leg strength, walking speed, and even mental focus. If you're still avoiding the yolk, it might be time to rethink that. Boiled, scrambled, poached, however you like it. The key is to enjoy it in moderation and regularly listening to your body's signals. For one of my personal favorites, fish skin. Yes, that part many people peel off, thinking they're avoiding fat, but it's actually one of nature's greatest gifts for joint pain and muscle firmness. The skin of fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel is rich in collagen, omega-3s, and essential amino acids, all in a form your body can easily absorb. While many fish oil capsules oxidize and lose potency, the natural fat in fish skin stays protected by its biological structure, making it easier to digest and more effective. One study found that seniors who included fish with the skin in their weekly meals experienced 30% less joint pain and improved ability to perform simple movements like sitting, standing, and walking. The secret? Cook it carefully in the oven or on the grill without deep frying, which destroys nutrients. The result? Crispy on the outside, long-lasting benefits on the inside. And now, to wrap up this section with a golden tip, let us talk about a fat that almost no one expects on a healthy list. Beef fat from grass-fed cows. That is, tonal referred to as beef tallow. This natural fat found in cuts like ribs, pecan haw, or a thick steak can be a powerful ally for your health after 60. Why? Atoneal? It contains stearic acid, a type of fat that helps your mitochondria, your body's energy factories, work more efficiently. In other words, it helps your muscles use energy better. And their S-more grass-fed beef fat also contains CLA conjugated linoleic acid, which has been linked to reduced joint inflammation and more effective muscle recovery. In a recent study, seniors who included small portions of this natural fat alongside the meat itself performed better in physical activities, even without increasing their exercise routine. No need to go overboard. A well-prepared steak with some of its natural fat 2 to 3 times a week can already offer these benefits. Now that you know which fats are dragging you down and which ones support your strength and energy, here comes the most important part: how to turn all this into real practical change, something you can feel in your body and maintain in your daily life. Because knowing what's good is only helpful if you put it into practice, right? So let's start with the simplest meal: breakfast. A lot of people wake up and go straight for that coffee with creamer, which, as we've seen, might be hurting your circulation. A smart swap: try black coffee or a splash of unsweetened plant-based milk. And if you want a touch of healthy fat and steady energy, add a teaspoon of unsweetened shredded coconut to your yogurt or oatmeal. Now pay attention, don't mix too many fat sources in the same meal. It's not just about the amount, it's the combination that matters. So for example, if you're having eggs, you don't need to add avocado on the side. Go with eggs and veggies, or eggs with a slice of 100% whole grain bread. That way, your body digests it better and makes the most of it. At lunch, instead of stewed meat cooked in reused fat, how about grilled fish with the skin? Not only is it delicious, it gives you collagen and omega-3 nutrients your knees will thank you for. In the afternoon, many people go overboard with nuts, avocado, chia, and coconut all at once. It sounds healthy, but that's too much fat in a single go. A better choice: a small handful of walnuts or yogurt with a bit of pre-soaked chia. Remember, balance matters more than quantity. At dinner, it's best to keep things light. Fatty meats or dishes loaded with vegetable oils can mess with your sleep, cause reflux, and hinder circulation while you rest. Choose a light soup with vegetables and a bit of lean meat, or a plate of scrambled eggs and steamed greens. And always pay attention to your body's signals. If you feel too full, sleepy, or your legs feel heavy after a meal, something in that combo didn't sit right. Your body is always communicating. We just need to learn how to listen. Now, let me tell you about something that happened to a friend of mine, Mrs. Olivia. She's 67, has always been active, but started feeling unusually tired. Her legs felt stiff after just half an hour of walking. And the strangest part, swelling in her ankles would show up at the end of the day. She went through several tests. Everything came back normal. One day, during a conversation, I asked her about her breakfast. "Oh, nothing special," she said. 2 eggs, half an avocado, and coffee with cream. Bingo. She thought she was doing everything right, but for her body at that stage of life, it was too much fat too early in the day. We suggested a few adjustments. She started eating 1 egg with spinach. The avocado, just a quarter and only 3 times a week. The cream swapped it for almond milk. Within 3 weeks, she reported something amazing. No more swelling in her feet. Walking felt lighter. And that afternoon brain fog, gone. This just shows how small changes can make a big difference. You don't need to cut everything out or go to extremes. Just get to know your body and adjust the amount and frequency of certain foods, especially fats. Now, one question I hear all the time is, but what about olive oil? Yes, olive oil is a healthy fat, but the key lies in how and how much you use it. After 60, it's best to use olive oil at room temperature on salads, overcooked veggies, or to finish a dish. Avoid heating it too much or frying with it, because that changes its composition. 1 tablespoon a day is more than enough for most people. And if you're already eating eggs, coconut, or fish that day, you might not even need that much. And one last but very important tip: stay hydrated. Fat digestion depends on bile, and bile needs water. If you eat more fat but don't drink enough water, everything slows down. Digestion, gut function, circulation. The ideal is at least 50 ounces a day more if it's hot out or you're going for walks. All of this might sound like a lot at first, but it quickly becomes second nature. Start with 1 swap, then another. And before you know it, you'll notice your legs feel steadier. Your aches have eased. Your energy is coming back. I know that over time we get used to certain discomforts. We start thinking that heavy legs, slower walking, swollen feet, those are just part of aging. Well, let me tell you something honestly. That's not always the case. Many times the issue isn't your age. It's what you're eating every day thinking it's healthy. You haven't lost your strength. You're just unknowingly feeding the enemy. That is, understanding which fats weaken you and which ones strengthen you and be the shift you've been waiting for. No new meds. No extreme diets. Just smarter choices. Let's recap, real quick. The 4 worst fats for people over 60 are: full fat. Processed coffee creamers cause inflammation, affect circulation, and may harm digestion. Excess poorly hydrated chia can clog digestion and slow down fat metabolism. Fats from processed meats increase arterial stiffness and joint pain. Excess dense plant fats like avocado and slower digestive systems can cause fatigue, retention, and hormonal imbalances. And the 4 best fats to fuel energy, protect joints, and strengthen your legs: natural or unsweetened dehydrated coconut meat, source of MCTs and lauric acid. It's great for focus and mobility. Egg yolk, rich in choline, omega-3, vitamin D, and easy to digest. Fish skin, full of collagen and healthy fat for joints and muscles. Natural fat from grass-fed beef boosts muscle energy use and reduces inflammation. The key isn't cutting all fat from your life. It's knowing which fats to choose and when. At 60, 70, 80 years old, your body still wants to live with strength, just needs you to stop working against it. Think about it. You could spend the next 10, 15, 20 years dealing with heavy legs, taking anti-inflammatories, or spending on supplements that don't really help. Or you could start today with 1 simple breakfast swap. You don't need to change everything, just take the first step. Your body will respond. It always responds. Have you ever noticed a difference after changing something in your diet? Comment below with your age and which of these swaps you'd like to try first. And if this video helped you see your food choices in a new light, share it with someone you love. Sometimes the person struggling with leg pain, fatigue, or swelling just needs this information to turn things around. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Every week I share content like this, based on science and real-life experience. No hype, no fads, just what actually works.